Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to a look at the brand new Ferrari, the SF1000. Yep, their 2020 Challenger was launched earlier this evening in a rather over-the-top launch, it must be said, but I've got to be honest. Cheesy, dramatic, over-the-top, that is just so Formula 1 and I love stuff like that. Great to see a team put some effort in. But anyway, back to the car, the SF1000, because they are going to be celebrating their 1000th Grand Prix this year, and that's why they've gone with that name. But let's get the elephant in the room out of the way straight away. Yep, it is red, and yep, it is pretty much identical to last year's livery. I can't see much too different on there. But honestly, I actually really did like last year's livery, so I'm quite happy for it to stay fundamentally the same. And you know, I think the Dark Mission Winnow sponsorship definitely looks better than it did when it was white. Now, yesterday when I did the Mercedes livery reaction video, I didn't bother with any side-by-sides because it was the 2019 car with the new livery on it. But this Ferrari is a real car, and although it is going to change massively between now and testing, and then again between testing and the first race of the season, there are a few little developments I've spotted. Now again, I'm not that technically minded. That is a disclaimer you're going to have to get used to hearing over pre-season, I'm afraid. But even I can see that this is a very aggressive or fairly aggressive evolution of last year's car. And that's got me quite excited. I didn't expect to see quite so many changes, especially with what's coming up with the 2021 regulations. So for the second time in this pre-season build-up launch period thing, it's time for a game of Spot the Difference. I feel like I need some kind of really cheesy 90s music after that one, but anyway, first thing I spotted on this car, genuinely, is the return of what they used to call the Viking horns. You can see there, just those little winglets on the airbox. They were definitely not there in the Abu Dhabi spec of last year's car, and I am so pleased to see them making a return. Not quite as dramatic or as awesome as they were on the McLaren a few years ago, or probably many years ago now, Sean, come on. But I've always been a fan of those, so good to see them on the car. Also, something I spotted, there's quite a bit of rake on that car as well. Now, it wasn't exactly non-existent in Abu Dhabi, but there looks to be a little bit more on this one. Now let me know what you think in the comments. It might just be the angle of the shot, it might be the lighting or whatever, but there definitely at least appears to be a bit more rake on that car. And I'm pointing that out because somehow I managed to miss it on the Haas last week despite it being massively aggressive on that car. So thank you to everybody in the comment section for drawing that to my attention. Looking at the front of the car, apart from those Viking horns, obviously not a lot changing. The front wing very much sticking with the same philosophy they had last year. But with my, let's say, untrained eye, I can't spot too much going on there. However, when we look at the side of the car, there are definite changes going on there. You can see there around the barge boards. That's been evolved on last year's concept. The best shot I've got, by the way, for the side-by-side is a shot from Russia. The clearest shot, anyway, of that area. But from what I can see, it wasn't on the Abu Dhabi spec either. But you've got like those three prongs, if you like. So that's definitely changed. And there looks to have been some evolution as well around the floor area at the front there. I'm not 100% sure on that. Again, it might just be angles and whatnot, but there looks to be something different. Once again on that, actually, as I said in the Haas video last week, if you want some proper in-depth stuff, check out Craig Scarborough on Twitter. He's fantastic with this sort of thing. Also, actually, keep an eye out for Arav as well. I'm sure he'll do a video on this too. But just comparing that barge board, because I like to do stuff like this, it's kind of a pointless comparison given the development through the season. But comparing these shots to last year's launch photos or renders or whatever, look at the difference there. That is a year's worth of development in one shot. Fantastic stuff. Yes, I'm back to getting excited about barge boards again. Actually, looking again, that boomerang on the barge board looks to be mounted slightly differently. Maybe? I don't know. Let's move to the rear of the car. From what I can tell, no massive changes to anything back here. I'm sure there'll be something, but what I do want to point out actually is the floor. It looks a lot cleaner, if you like, a lot tidier, not a lot going on there. So I fully expect when we get to Barcelona and we get to Australia, you'll see a lot of those deflectors suddenly spring up out of nowhere. So definitely keep an eye out for that one. Again, this is just a launch spec car. It's really just to, well, launch their season and to show off their 2020 livery. But it's still always nice to give a proper car a once-over rather than just some studio renders or a livery on a 2019 car. But rather than just waffling on and trying to pretend I know what I'm talking about, I shall leave it there for tonight. But if you've spotted anything on this car that I've missed, something completely obvious, then please do let me know in the comment section. And also, what do you think of the new SF1000? Now, I will be back tomorrow because we've got Red Bull and Renault launching. but I think they're going to be 2 launches in one video rather than just loading your sub boxes with multiple videos a day. And then, of course, it is McLaren on Thursday, and then we've got AlphaTauri on Friday. Can't wait for that one. Really want to see what that livery is going to be. And Mercedes launched the W11 proper on Friday as well. In the meantime, though, don't forget that you can follow me over on social media with all of the links you need for that in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.